Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting. We got quite a bit on. Apparently, a network issue, so I'm not sure what's going on. This, all right. Just give me. You're listening to the About That Wallet podcast. We'll be right back after these messages.
Even the best and the brightest this world has to offer have coaches and mentors. Build strong money-making behaviors by applying financial concepts and strategies with Anthony Weaver on the About That Wallet Show. It's time to get off the bench and get in the game. Now, here's your host, Anthony Weaver.
And for the and I'm like a huge delay in everything that's going on. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe because I have my Nintendo Switch hooked up and just things are ready to be played. You know what? How about I do that? I'll turn off my Switch for now because it's running in the background. I'll hook it up later and then we can start playing some video games, start talking about other things. What I'm going to talk about is talking about con of your taxes. And taxes right now is really mindsets because it's coming up. I mean, they right around the corner. And because of that, I do have special guests. If you're a personal, uh, what in the world is going on in your life regarding. Now, again, for those of you who are joining, my technical difficulties, I'm not sure what's going on. So my video is going in and out. Just let me know you guys can hear me. Just type some. Anthony, I can hear you. I'm actually go ahead on. Uh, there. Maybe that worked. Okay. All right. So I had to unplug some things. So hopefully this works this time. And this is the reason why I kind of am like a pro and con about live shows. It's because I cannot edit when I have into technical difficulties. Well, we're going to get this right. Thank you guys for sitting with me through this. So first off, I'm going to take a deep dive into like see at a high level what's going on right now when it comes to your taxes, because your tax season is very important. For those of you who don't know, you need to know about your W-4s and your W-2s. Obviously, your W-2s come a little bit later. Your employer takes care of that. Your employer also takes care of your W-4s. Keep in mind, this is for educational purposes only. So do not try to come sue me about something that you heard. Please do your research and talk to your tax professional and or your enrolled agent. An enrolled agent can actually represent you in front of the IRS. So if there's any issues with your tax returns or dealing with your taxes, you can actually have that person represent you in a court of law. So just to know your little difference, so make sure you know your education and go to irs.gov if you ever have any additional questions. But for right now, we're going to show this quick 3-minute clip that is directly from NBCnews.com, which I thought was pretty informative when it comes to talking about your taxes. So let's see what they have to say. If it plays. It was playing earlier. So come on. Like I said, I'm not sure what's going on.
In addition to all of these bills,
when it comes to filing your taxes, most Americans are on the same page.
Definitely not looking forward to filing my taxes this year.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Well, it's definitely more expensive.
But did you know you can file your taxes by the April 15th deadline for free? Put simply, doing your taxes does not have to cost you.
Have you ever filed your taxes for free?
No.
Did you know you can do that?
No.
Hold on. If you guys are watching, did you even know that you can file your taxes for free? Just wondering, because I mean, it's one of those things that, oh my gosh, I typed it in there. I wanted to say, did you know you could file your taxes for free? So this is what we're going to be talking about. Pretty much how you can file your taxes for free, but also the limitations of doing so. So let's listen.
History lesson. Taxes weren't always so complicated or expensive. In the early 1900s, the 16th Amendment established a federal income tax. But at that time, most people were exempt. In fact, less than 1% of the population paid income taxes. That changed at the beginning of World War II when taxes became a way to help pay for the war.
I have called for personal sacrifice.
In 1939, only 5% of the population paid income tax, growing to 60% by the war's end. And with more people paying taxes came the creation of tax preparation companies. It's a business that would later become so profitable, tax preparation companies would spend millions lobbying against free filing services.
The tax preparation industry, both in person and online, has spent a great deal of money to get members of Congress to see things their way. The public goal should be to have a system that doesn't force you to spend a chunk of your pay to have someone fill out your tax return.
The issue has been brought up in multiple congressional hearings.
Tax prep companies have sabotaged the free file program.
Companies that have found themselves in the hot seat, like Intuit, the maker of TurboTax, say in part, as our business grows, so does our engagement and education of policymakers on various issues, from AI and innovation to stronger consumer protections and tax simplification. While H&R Block says in part, the IRS should focus additional funding on improving existing services. H&R Block's free filing option offers approximately 43 different forms. So let's talk about the multiple ways you can file for free. That is, if you have a simple return.
A lot of people don't realize that they don't have to pay a tax preparer.
I sat down with CNBC's Sharon Epperson to discuss 4 main ways to file for free, starting with Direct File, a brand new pilot program this year that's available in 12 states.
If you have W-2 wages, if you have unemployment compensation, or if you have Social Security benefits, that's something that you want to look at for Direct File. You can also do Free File on the irs.gov website. You have to have an income less than $79,000 to qualify. Free File allows you to get tax prep for free online through a tax partner with the IRS. If you want another free option, but you make over $79,000 a year, you can check out IRS Free File fillable forms. You're not going to get any guidance or tax preparation advice, but you will be able to file your taxes for free. There are also other organizations that offer free help. There's a volunteer income tax assistance program. AARP Foundation has a tax aid program for those 50 and older who are low and moderate income. And then if you're a veteran in the military, there's meal tax.
According to the IRS, on average, individual taxpayers spend about...
Hold on, did y'all catch that? So some of you guys might have missed that. I'm going to play that one more time because these are really key information that if you want to file your taxes for free, and I think this is a good way to do that. If you're not comfortable, then you can always I'll share some extra resources after that. So let's see what. Let's rewind it and hear this again.
Has a tax aid program for those 50 and older who are low and moderate income. And then if you're a veteran in the military, there's meal tax.
According to the IRS, on average, individual taxpayers spend about $140 to get their taxes prepared, with an 8% rise in tax preparation costs this year.
Look at these different options that will allow you to do your taxes for free. If you qualify, use them instead of going to a tax preparer.
And that's free tax filing, simply explained.
Our thanks to Zinclay for that report. And now we want to hear from you. What do you want Simply Explained? Let Zinclay know by connecting with her on your favorite social media platforms.
All right. Yeah. So that's one of the ways that they were talking about. But also I want to share with you that, the IRS has already set up this lovely file. It's called the IRS Direct File. And it's a pilot program. So it's only available in 12 states. And they say it's easy, it's free, secure. And so definitely if you want to double check to see if you're eligible, you need to double check your states. So the states that they have listed on the website is Florida, Nevada, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, and Wyoming. They have Arizona, California, Massachusetts, New York, and Washington. So if your state isn't on there, they do have other filing preparation options for your taxes. So since most of you who listen to this show are in Maryland, let's see what the other options are. So they have here is that on this website, what I can see is this show the electric filing options for individuals. They say you can use the IRS Free File guided tax software or IRS Free File fillable forms. So remember, taxes can be mailed in by paper or you can actually do them electronically. So they are giving you multiple ways to file your taxes. Most of the time, your tax preparer will utilize these digital forms to fill in the main form and then print those out, sign them, and then mail them off to the IRS. Now, keep in mind that every document that is sent to you regarding your taxes is actually sent to the IRS. So they have the exact same forms as you do. It's just that they want to see how you're filling out this form so that they can say, oh, are you actually giving us as much as you say you are giving us? Or is this just a ruse? But, let's keep moving. Because it gets me to think, like, well, if they get the same forms, why don't they just fill out the form for you? Like, why they making it difficult for the everyday person like you and I? It just doesn't make sense. I'm not sure if you guys make sense, but it just doesn't make sense. Like, I want something magical when every time I get my income from the tax people, I just want to get a yes, Anthony, we have did all your taxes for you. Like, that's something that I want to have. You know what I'm saying? It's something nice. But they talk about using the use of free tax return preparation site. So for those of you who are not familiar and who haven't joined my newsletter, I highly recommend joining my newsletter because I'll be bringing out more of these resources for you to have. Now, I had this one in my last monthly mailer, which is talking about the IRS volunteer income tax assistance, or it's called VITA, and they tax counseling for the elderly, which is the lady talked about, which is the TCE programs, which are free tax help for e-filing taxes. So now there's a caveat though. There are limitations to having this program. So we just doing a deep dive of what they were talking about in that particular news segment. The thing about when they talk about the free tax return preparation for qualifying taxpayers, this is key. The VITA program has operated over 50 years. VITA sites often offer free tax help to people who need assistance in preparing their own tax returns, including people who generally make $64,000 or less, are persons with disabilities, and a limited English speaking taxpayers. So if you know somebody that English is their second language, they can actually get their taxes filed for free, which is interesting because a lot of us can speak English, but not that good English. And the English that they put on these tax forms is, I don't know, it's lawyer speak. That's not normal English. I don't know about you guys. I don't know that's normal English. However, I really think that we can do a little better than this. So let's just say they say before you visit, before visiting a Vita or TCE site, see publication 3676-B PDF for services provided and check what to bring to ensure that you have all the required documents and information for our volunteers will need to help you. Now, keep in mind, these people usually are retired taxpayers, some a little older, and some of them just have some free time and they usually are, they go through a training program to actually make sure this is accurate for you. So, on this page, they could tell you out where you can locate them out. It depends on what state you're in. You can find them out. But what I want to bring up, which is universal to all of us, which is what to bring when you go to these sites. Now, this is an in-person thing that you go to them. So the first thing you need to do, let me see if I can zoom in on here. The first thing you'll need is proof of identification. They need to know who you are. You're going to need your social security cards with you for your spouse and dependents. Now, for those of you who are joining, we're talking about how to get your taxes filed for free using the VITA program or the TCE program. If you're not familiar with those are, just rewind it by like 15 seconds. And I just recently talked about it. So an individual taxpayer identification numbers or the ITIN, which is assigned by a letter maybe substituted for you, your spouse, and your dependents if you do not have a social security number. So that keep in mind, this is free for the people who don't speak English really well. So this will be really helpful for them. You need proof of foreign status if you're applying for the ITIN. Again, they just need to know who you are. They're talking about health insurance exception certificate. This is, I think you get these in the mail just to kind of say like, hey, I had health insurance for the year or something like that. Proof of a bank account with routing number. A blank check is great because they want to do direct deposit. It's a lot easier to do it that way, and then usually you get it a lot faster. A copy of last year's federal or state returns if you have it available, because some people might do this if you have a teen that is going to work that aren't old enough yet or haven't had any other returns in the past. Or say if you were, oh yeah, you know, if you are a stay-at-home spouse, you actually will get the you should be on whoever your spouse's tax returns is, so you should get all that as well. Let's see. To file taxes electronically, married filing jointly returns, both spouses must be present to sign the required documents. Now, there's also married filing separate, so they don't need to sign that form. If that's the reason why they're saying if you file in jointly, you need to do that. Copies of income transcripts from the IRS and state, if applicable. So this is just things that you need to be aware of. So everybody needs to bring these, even to your basic tax preparer. You need to mail them in or fax them in to make sure that you have that information. So some of you are like, you know, I already did my taxes, but I just don't know where the heck are my taxes at. And you're like, hey, Anthony, can you show me or help me out with that? I'm like, sure, person. You know, this is where you go. The IRS already has it laid out for you. They say, where's my refund? And you click on where's my refund. So what you'll need, because they're trying to help you out to check for your refund. You're trying to get some money. They say your social security of an individual ID number or your ITIN or the same thing that we just talked about, your filing status, and then also an abstract refund amount on your return. So you need to double check your return and see what that is. Now, you'd be like, well, you know, that's nice. I got my return and everything like that. But can you go back a little bit and see what's going on? Because I, you know, say, you want to save some extra money on your tax return. So I was like, cool. I went on over to Gemini. I was like, hey, Gemini. I didn't have any guests for today's show. So we're going to be like, hey, Gemini, can you help us out right quick? So I was like, hey, Gemini, what should I do with my refund? Hey, well, we know what to do with a refund. Let me go back because I was asking some basic ways. There we go. I asked it, what are the top 3 common ways to save on taxes as a W-2 employee? Because sometimes some of you who already paid your taxes, now you're trying to figure out ways that you can actually try to save more on your taxes come this year. Now, one of the things you can look into, which is putting your money into your 401k or your IRA. Now, that's one way as a W-2 worker to kind of help increase, or actually not increase, but decrease the amount of money that you're actually being taxed on. And some of you might not are not familiar with that, but I will go over the tax brackets shortly because you all need to know this before I release the episode talking about taxes from Angela King, who's been a long-time member, like a long-time guest on the show, and I highly recommend you check out those episodes. If you're just watching or just tuning in, make sure you go ahead on and like this episode and subscribe. All right. So the top 3 ways for a W-2 employee to save on their taxes is super simple. You put money into your retirement stuff, like your 401k and IRA. You could take the standard deduction. The standard deductions are pretty cool when it comes to your houses. It's just pretty much a chunk of money you automatically get to subtract from your taxes. No need to do any fancy paperwork. And lastly is to utilize the flexible spending account. Now, some of you might not have it for your employer, but you can always ask them. And if your work offers it, so set aside money for your taxes to pay off your health stuff and childcare, saving you money on their costs. So there's a FSA and there's a HSA, which is the health savings account. Now, I'm gonna just go on and ask you, like, what is a HSA? The reason why I'm asking it that because I can obviously look it up somewhere else, but it's a little easier to do it right here. Just give me directly what I want. So it says an HSA is a health savings account. I can have this thing speak. What? This is my first time trying this out, you guys. So
an HSA or health savings account is a special tax advantage account designed to help you save for
let me do that again. Let me see.
Qualified medical expenses. It's often paired with a specific type of health insurance plan called a high deductible health plan, HDHP. Here's a breakdown of how HSAs work. Eligibility. You can only contribute to an HSA if you're enrolled in an HSA eligible high deductible health plan, HDHP. HDHPs typically have lower monthly premiums but come with higher deductibles, which is the amount you have to pay out of pocket before your insurance kicks in. Tax advantages. Money you contribute to an HSA goes in tax-free, reducing your taxable income for the year. The money in your HSA grows tax-free if invested. When you use the funds for qualified medical expenses, you can withdraw them tax-free as well. What it covers. HSAs can be used to pay for a wide range of qualified medical expenses, including deductibles, co-pays, co-insurance, prescriptions, dental care, and vision care. Generally, you cannot use HSA funds to pay for health insurance premiums, except for certain preventive care. Benefits. HSAs offer a triple tax advantage. Contributions are tax deductible, earnings grow tax-free, and qualified medical withdrawals are tax-free. They can be a good option for those who are generally healthy and want to save money on healthcare costs in the long run. The funds roll over year to year, so you can accumulate money over time. Things to consider. Because HSAs work with HDHPs, you'll have...
So I want to pause on that one moment. It's because when it comes to HSAs, when they say for the long run, say if you you're just putting all your money away, the cool thing about HSAs is that you can actually invest with that money. And so that means that, say later on down the line, you just needed some Tylenol or you needed some amoxicillin or something for your ailing self, or if you needed one of those health rings, I believe I'm not even sure what they call, but it checks your pulse and all that fun stuff. You can actually use all of that with your HSA and have it all paid off for because you already did it. Like the work is there, the money's already been spent. So you can actually go buy this out of cash and then actually refund yourself and do like a huge refund or a huge claim and say like, hey, here's all my receipts for the whole year. I want this, or here are my receipts from like 7 years ago for buying, I don't know, some children's Tylenol because your child got sick or something, or you needed some Pampers, or you need other things. I will find a page to talk about that, but these are some of the ways that you can help out with saving some of your taxes.
Have a higher deductible to meet before your insurance starts covering costs. This may not be suitable for everyone, especially those with frequent medical needs or unpredictable health expenses. There are contribution limits each year, so make sure you understand the limits before enrolling. Resources. You can find more information about HSAs on the websites of the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, linked to www.irs.gov. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, linked to www.healthcare.gov.
Wow. So I have to say that I am really loving how far AI has come. I mean, like, man, it's great. So I ain't really got to repeat all of this. You gotta get a different voice. In the meantime, yeah, what do you know? So one of the things that I asked Gemini, which is, what are the top 3 issues United States citizens have about filing taxes? And the reason why I asked that question is because these are the things that we need to start talking about. Like, if we can tackle some of these complexities, then we can actually make life a lot easier for just about every citizen here. And it will make life so much easier. But let's see what it has to say.
Here are 3 top issues U.S. citizens face regarding filing taxes. 1. Complexity of the tax code. The U.S. tax code is known for being intricate and difficult to navigate. There are numerous deductions, credits, and exceptions, making it challenging for individuals to determine what they owe or qualify for. This complexity often leads to confusion and uncertainty, especially for those filing on their own. 2. Keeping track of documents. Tax filing necessitates collecting and organizing various documents throughout the year. This includes receipts, W-2s, 1099s, and other income or expense records. Many taxpayers struggle to stay organized and ensure they have everything required when filing their return. 3. Fear of making mistakes in audits. The potential for errors and the consequences of an IRS audit can be a significant source of stress for taxpayers. Even minor mistakes on a tax return can lead to penalties or delays, and the audit process can be lengthy and intimidating.
Yeah. So having an understanding that taxes and all this fun stuff is great and all, but you know, how do we keep things like light and airy? Let's see. Sorry for playing so many towns in the background, but as we get to the half-hour mark of me going live, I have to say that, it's a lot of stuff is going on, and I really want to make sure that you guys are successful with your taxes and also know the resources that are available, and also know pretty much everything that's necessary when it comes to behind the taxes and what the tax codes are set up for, why we use them, and the whole purpose of why the taxes are so difficult. It's tough out there, and it's trying to figure out like, why does it have to be this way. One of the things I did also ask is like, what is the purpose of taxes? Because a lot of us might know that we have to file them, but why? So let's see what it has to say.
There are 2 main purposes of taxes. 1. Raise revenue for government spending. This is the primary function. Taxes collected by federal, state, and local governments fund a wide range of public services and programs. These include essential infrastructure like roads and bridges, public safety, police, fire departments, education, schools, and social programs, welfare, social security. 2. Influence economic activity. Sometimes, governments use tax policy to encourage or discourage certain behaviors. For instance, tax breaks for electric vehicles incentivize eco-friendly choices, while taxes on cigarettes aim to disincentivize smoking.
Or you can look at it as a fee for doing business. So that's one of the things that, we need to think about too. And also ask it about state taxes, because we need to know about state taxes.
State taxes are additional taxes levied by individual U.S. states on top of federal income tax. They apply to income earned within the state or by residents of the state, depending on the specific tax. Here's a breakdown. Income tax. Most states, 42, have an income tax, similar to the federal government's. You pay a percentage of your income based on tax brackets set by the state. These rates and brackets vary considerably by state. Other types of taxes. In addition to income tax, states may impose other taxes such as sales tax on purchases, property tax on real estate, or gas tax on fuel. The revenue collected from state taxes goes towards funding various public services and programs at the state and local level, similar to federal taxes. Examples include roads, schools, and social programs.
All right, so you can't beat that right now, and it's one of the things that I love to share about how all of this is going through, is because we not just only doing the taxes, but we also talking about how we actually manage the things that we do, and not just because we want to, but because it's almost like we have to for tax purposes. So, man, all right, we did a lot about taxes. We talked about a lot of stuff today, and what I want to do is kind of end off at least talking about how our taxes are set up, so that you can start getting that information that you need necessarily to be successful in your taxes and also your tax preparations. So we already talked about, the brand new uh, direct file pilot program. We also talked about how to use the tax return to prepare your taxes for free and the things that you need. And then also they talk about other commercial softwares that are out there. Now, you can also find a authorized e-filer. So the authorized e-filer, you just pretty much put in your zip code. You can just say state. Let's go with let's see. Do I have anybody that follow me in Connecticut? I don't know. Let's see. Let's go with Maine, because Maine's all the way up there. Let's go. So we can say in Maine, they show me e-file providers, which is 853 options. So if you live in Maine, you can actually just utilize this just to kind of check out some things. And I think this is pretty cool. So you have some resources necessary. So if you do not want to utilize like TurboTax or the big box stores, you have options. I don't even know why it does this. Let's see, go back. Cool. All right. I exhausted everything. So what I want to do is also take a moment to share with you, if you haven't gone to my website yet. So let's see. Do I even have my website open? If you haven't already, go to the aboutthatwallet.com and check out all the latest and greatest so that you can actually sign up for the newsletter. You can check out all the latest offers that are available, and also check out some of the latest podcast episodes. I do have the option here if you ever want to just kind of get your finances on track. It's a free software. I think I know it to be free for the first 60 days, so you can try it out. And if you like it, you can continue to use it. It's no hassle or anything like that. So it's just straightforward. And obviously, this is the live show and talk about some of the merch that I have available. So you can get all of this on the aboutthatwallet.com. And if you're looking to send me things, you can always send me things at P.O. Box 1877, Clinton, Maryland, 20757. I always look forward to seeing some fan mail or anything like that. So if you ever just feel like want to send me stuff, you can send me stuff. No worries. All right. So I think that's it for the show. Let me know in the comments on what are you planning to do with your taxes. Are you going to utilize their new filing tool if you can use it? Or are you going to continue to go with your tax professional or utilize one of those big box stores? Just curious. Keep me posted. I look forward to hearing what y'all have to say. All right, everybody. Y'all be safe. I'm out. Peace. Now things want to work when they want to. All right, y'all have a good one. I'm out.